drink champagne. I'm totally vibing. It's true what they say. It's all about timing.
Hi guys, welcome back to Unscripted. My name is C Chronicles and I post vlogs as well as fragrance reviews on this channel. Now if you're new and you are not yet subscribed, please do take a moment or a millisecond of your time to click the red subscribe button and join this family. It helps with the growth of this channel, guys, as well as the stats and everything nice there. So I would very much appreciate it if you did decide to subscribe. Now to those who are returning, thank you so much for the continued support. If you've been following this channel, you know that I do dedicate Wednesdays to a cluster of fragrances, and what I call a cluster is anything from 3 going onwards, because this is a fairly new channel, so I am actually building the collection with you guys. Now today I'm going to feature the Cacharels, but just the Yes I Am range. I think when it comes to this range, they are on bottle number 6, because the 7th one has got polka dots and that one is marketed as a collector's edition, so it could just be this one rebottled. Now if you're familiar with the Yes I Am, you will know that they do come in this bottle. It does get longer depending on the contents, like the mls. Mine is a 30 ml, so it kind of looks mini-ish. Actually, when my son went to collect the other one that arrived the other day, he called me because it came with this lady from the UK. So he called me and he said, I've got your parcel, but to me it's not looking like a fragrance, it's actually a lipstick. And I laughed. I said, no, it is actually a fragrance. So anyway, the very first one is going to be Yes I Am, which I believe is the original from the the other ones, because the other ones are flankers. Now in this one, guys, do expect a crowd pleasing scent, or shall I say from all of the Yes I Ams. Maybe let me not speak for the 2 that I do not have. The ones I have here are all crowd pleasing, so they're going to give you that like a generic vibe. Now this is built around a sweet fruity vanilla-y kind of drippy caramel mix there. It does get spicy there, it also does get warm, and then immediately you will feel it right there as it sits or gets into the dry down, that this is more to do with a fruity, especially prominent strawberry there. So in as much as the strawberry does mix with the florals, you will carry this strawberry all through. The florals listed in this fragrance are gardenia and jasmine, but it doesn't really make it outright about the florals. Like, I wouldn't say go and purchase this, because if you love jasmine, it's going to do it for you. The florals are there just to build the DNA of this fragrance, but they're not piercing. It's mostly to do with that sweet, fruity, warm and spicy strawberry. There is a ginger in this fragrance, which I feel could have been amped up a little to give it a fizzy kick. To me, it comes across as very shy, just in the background there to an extent. Some of you are not going to even feel this gingerness, and then as this fragrance dries down, there's going to be like a richness that adds into this, which kind of weighs in as a lactonic touch to it, because there is the note of milk added to this separate, but it's not too milky. You just get like a rounded softness of a creamy accord there, which is obviously coming from that milk. But as you are experiencing that rounded kind of feel of that milky tone, there's also a bitter cardamom there, a spicy licorice there, so it becomes a concoction of a lot of things. Unfortunately, even the additions of all these other notes do not make this one to my nose a complex scent. It's going to smell very relatable, like one of those fragrances that if you walk into a perfume store, there is that umbrella wrap up of just a general fragrance smell that you get there, and you are going to get it with this fragrance, guys. So to me, it's not something that I'm going to call unique. However, it's familiarity makes it one that's easy to gift, because it's going to be blind buy safe. A lot of people are going to like this. Just Offset, it just comes across with that staple DNA that you get in a lot of feminine fragrance. The lasting power on this particular one, and I'd say on most of the Cacharels, actually the ones that I own, is dependent on how generous you are on the spray. Okay, so if you are the sort of person that sprays say 3-4 sprays, this is going to be an underperformer. It's not one that's going to be room filling, but anybody around you within like a 2.5 meter radius will be able to smell this on you, especially for the first 2-3 hours, somewhere thereabout. And the longevity in its entirety, or at least to me, it pushes to about 6 hours, somewhere thereabout, and then it becomes a fragrance that I need to reapply. Season is an all year round, as long as you like the DNA. So that's it, guys, for the very first one, which is Cacharel Yes I Am, the original. The second one on the lineup, guys, is going to be the I Am Fabulous. Now, these are flankers, and what I did realize about the Cacharels and their flankers is all of them, it doesn't matter the one that has like an addition of the chocolate, it'll still have remnants of, the original. So it does feel as though even the flankers are taken from the original. So say, for instance, you can only access the original. Try putting your nose on that. If you like it, you're going to love the extensions. All right, so this is the one that comes with the purple lipstick there. Going to take out the cover and then spray it on this tester paper. You're going to have a berry blast that's going to hit you there in the face. So this is going to be more to do again with the fruitiness. Some of you are going to find that those berries give you a mental shortcut of what feels like you eating, like grapes. We are in the grape season in my country, and I bought grapes yesterday and I was eating them, and it is something that is coming to mind now just smelling this I Am Fabulous. This takes a less spicier twist than the original, but it does keep the sweetness. So this is also a sweet fragrance. There is a use of the milk in this as well. So it does look like the range plays around a lot with the milk note. And that milk note in this particular one, guys, is quite prominent to an extent that I can class this one as a creamy lactonic scent. There is a nuttiness that comes with this creaminess. It's going to add a nuttiness, a woodiness, and then the creamy roundup builds like a thick, rich, lush concoction there. Some of you are going to get wafts of what feels like a licorice just smelling it in the packet there. Another thing to give you a mental shortcut or to make it easier for you to imagine what this smells like is, if you're like myself and you identify certain fragrances with colors, this I'm going to say smells purple. If you've used a fragrance like say Lattafa's Burial Oud Amethyst, there is that thing that comes with purple fragrances and it's almost identifiable in this. There's a little bit of character in this as opposed to the original. This one has got like a little bit of a grown appeal to it than the original. The original comes across to me not as juvenile but as very fun and young and upbeat, and that this one stretches a little to an extent that say if you wanted to blind buy it for a parent, it wouldn't come across as a fragrance that feels juvenile. It also has that feminine appeal to it, something that just is identifiable in a lot of fragrances that smell feminine. On 10 12 sprays, this one does about 7-8 hours. The projection for this fragrance is more or less similar to that one. 3.5 meter radius, especially after the person has just sprayed this, you're going to be able to smell it on them for about 2-3 hours, after which it becomes a fragrance that they enjoy themselves. This is a fragrance that you can potentially wear all year round, but because of that depth, that licorice twist, that woody twist, this is a fragrance that can hold its own even in cooler weather. It's different enough, say for instance, for you to own if you already own the original. So that's the second one on the lineup, guys. I Am Fabulous from Cacharel. And then there is Yes I Am Delicious. Now, by the color of the lipstick, I'm pretty sure most of you will guess that this will either have coffee or chocolate, and yes, it does have chocolate. Now I'm going to spray it on the tester paper and then tell you my thoughts. The first burst you're going to get from this is certainly that chocolate. The chocolate is prominent, especially in the opening there. It kind of gives like a cloud of chocolate, but to my nose it doesn't come across as a deep chocolate or what I would call a dark chocolate. Comes across as possibly the smell that you'd get, say, from what you call it, chocolate milk, if you like, say chocolate milk, that sort of thing. It's not like it's like wafts off, and it is at this point where some of you are going to find this feeling a bit synthetic as that chocolate wrap up is doing its thing there. There's a nuttiness as well that's going to come into the mix. Some noses may miss this nuttiness and mistake it for an extension of that chocolate, but there is a hazelnut that joins in and a bitter cardamom. Now when it comes to the chocolate in this, it's going to be nose specific to what extent you can hold on to it. Some people will be able to smell this chocolate from start to finish. Some people are going to have this chocolate disappear on them very fast. Like say for instance, prominent burst of that chocolate there, and it quickly turns into woods and then white florals and wafts of like a kind of like a sweet powdery woody thing or woody nutty wrap up of a fragrance, instead of this one shouting chocolate, 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 if you know what I mean. So I'm just trying to explain to you to what extent the chocolate, is active in this. But yes, it does have the chocolate note, and that chocolate note, guys, is working together with some spices, some woods there, and the florals. And then in the dry down of this is going to be something that's going to feel like an inclusion of the citruses. So it is a fragrance that is quite busy there. If you sniff it for the purposes of trying to decipher it, you will get slight traces of the original in this. But this time they did not make this one about the fruit. It was more to do with that cacao that feels like a powdery cacao kind of note there. And this, unlike the other two or the other three that I have here, does not have the inclusion of the milk note. I would have thought that maybe if they had added the milk note to this one, maybe the chocolate would have had more weight, because the chocolate is there, but it's quickly disturbed by one or two things happening in the fragrance. It's also going to lean gourmand, so this is going to be a favorite for people who love gourmand fragrances. It comes across to my nose as an ideal fall scent, although it can potentially be worn, in all seasons, because it is a light performer. In fact, from this one, I get like an intimate, type of fragrance. Not that it cannot be smelled. It is just a tease of a fragrance where there's a burst there and you wish it could last, and then it quickly becomes something that you yourself or the wearer enjoys. And I've seen this, happen a lot with a lot of chocolate fragrances. They just seem to stay closer to the wearer than, projecting. They don't do the most. I can say the same of Billie Eilish. You get the chocolate there and it kind of is playing games and being shy and all that. So that's something to expect from this one. You're going to be in a sweet wrap up of a fragrance, even overly sweet to some, a woody tone, a spicy tone there, a faint chocolate during the extended wear of this fragrance. Another one that you may need to overspray, but with this one, caution, because it does kind of amp it up there on the sweetness. So it does have the potential of maybe becoming a little bit too much in terms of the sweetness. This can almost pass off as a unisex fragrance, because the chocolate here is not giving me girly vibes or anything like that. It's just giving me a safe fragrance that both men and women can wear. But the sweetness or the sweet wrap up is going to be, again, one of those that a lot of females will identify with. Because the cacao or the chocolate note stays very close to you, this is a fragrance that you are going to smell at least for about 5 hours or somewhere thereabout, and this is you sniffing it closely. Say you've put it on your hand, sniffing it closely there. It's going to do about 5 hours, 6 hours of stretching it. So that's it for I Am Delicious. Now, the last one in my collection, but not the last one in the range, is going to be I Am Pink First. And it does have that pink lipstick there. They did not write anything on the bottles, so you're gonna identify them by the lipsticks. The boxes have got, the names there, but if you look at the bottle, on the cap or something like that, it just says Cacharel. So this is I Am Pink First. Gonna spray it there, and then tell you my thoughts. This is also fruity. It's going to have a prominent pear and a raspberry there, giving it like a bubblegum accord. This to my nose feels a little bit complex. It's like an attempt at making the original composition a little bit complex in adding, twists and turns and some pizzazz. You're going to feel a fresh, spicy ginger almost coming to the surface there. And it is that ginger that makes this one sparkle. And it is the ginger that makes this one less of basic, say mainstream fruity scent that feels like the rest of them. It's gonna have that fizzy twist there, that sparkle there. It's gonna have that spicy thing, and it's gonna have a tone of what feels a little bit mature because of that. Okay, so from the range, I think this one was maybe targeted for the older audience because of that little bit of weight that they added to it. In as much as it opens with that bubblegum thing, it is not a bubblegum to mistake for this fragrance being juvenile. There's also less sweetness in this and more emphasis on wafts of like a cleanness there, freshness there. The use of that milk is there in this, but it doesn't make it the center stage. It's just going to make this one have like a shy creaminess. That is if you dig hard enough. enough. If not, you might not even get that creaminess. You're also gonna get a jasmine, guys, that adds to that grown weight of this fragrance. So in as much as it says I am pink first, and you think maybe because of the color pink, this is the one that's going to be more like young at heart, and I get complexity in this. I get multiple pages in this. Yes, there is an association in this to the original, but it's less sticky sweet, it's less syrupy, it's more fizzy. It gives you a little bit of everything, a little bit of spices, a little bit of some cleanness there, a little bit of a freshness. It carries that fruity raspberry, but it doesn't make it about a jammy raspberry. There is the pear there that weighs in, giving it this fresh thing, because pear has got this tendency, guys, of coming across as clean in fragrance. This is one that stretches the most in terms of performance. This is also one that is room filling based on my experience with the other ones. It kind of takes over the moment for at least an hour, somewhere thereabouts. So you're gonna get compliments from this. I think it is that twist of the ginger that makes this one a little bit different from the rest of them without overly straight. I get a great spring summer scent, but also a DNA that you can wear all year round, and also one DNA that aligns with feminine fragrances, but of course you wear what you want to wear. So that's it, guys. That's a wrap. Those are the 4 within my collection from the Cacharel range of the I Ams. Okay, so we did talk about I Am Delicious, the original I Am, the I Am Fabulous, and I Am Pink first. The ones I do not have and haven't sniffed are I Am Glorious as well as I Am Bloom. The one in the polka dots I think is just for collectors. So let me know in the comment section your thoughts on those 2 that I didn't bring here, whether or not they're fragrances that I need to add to my collection, or the other 3 were blind buys. The only one that I did smell first before I bought was the original, so I wouldn't mind completing the collection. So if you have the other ones that I do not have, just drop it in the comment section so that I know whether it's worth my while to complete the collection. C Chronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Do remember to turn on post notifications, guys, on both my channels. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Meanwhile, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.